Hello everybody and welcome to the Fortress of Dawnclaw. This fortress was sent in by Brightcat, and on the surface up in the overworld, it resides in the middle of its own faction, which is nice to see. It is a member of the Lions of Summer, and of course, a part of the grand civilization, the Wilted Gears. Now they sent in this fortress with the specific statement that this was their first attempt to make a waterfall entrance, and of course I'm gonna have to take a look at a fort that has a description like that. If you would like to send in a fort for me to have a look at on this channel, please join my Discord. Link is down in the description of this video. And in the Discord, there's a room called the DF Save Sharing Room. And if you would like me to take a peek at your save, give me a little pitch as to why I should have a look at it and leave a link to download it. You can either put it directly onto the Discord server or alternatively just simply upload it to a file sharing service of your choice. Keep in mind, if you've used a bunch of mods, it's unlikely I will be able to load it, as I've had a lot of problems loading heavily modded save files. Now, as we take a peek at the fort, immediately we notice that it is very wide and very surface driven. We do also have a very large population of 149, and if we check the nobles tab, we can see that we do have a mayor, and we do also have captain of the guard and a very well appointed set of captains and officials, but no royalty just yet. Just a metropolis. Up here on the surface, we can see that there is this beautiful selection of cacti as well as various trees and things. And over here in the corner, we have a small room dedicated to growing mushrooms, I would assume, as well as two small coffins. I don't exactly know the purpose of this room, aside from I'm assuming it's kind of an entryway down into the caverns of sorts or something, but it is definitely a blocked entryway. Now keep in mind, if you were to get sieged by, let's just say, goblins, and they happen to have trolls, the trolls could topple these doors. So they might still get caught in these cage traps, but this is very much a vulnerability for this fortress. As for the fort itself, we do have some stoneworkers' workshops on the surface. We'll worry about that corner in a moment. I just kind of want to talk about the awesomeness that is the main reason I had a peek at this fort, which is this. This is the entryway. So it's this lowered down dirt layer down here, covered in dense grass, sitting on top of rock. It almost looks like it had mud pumped over top of it, but it's not quite the case. I think it was just like either dropped or lowered down. I'd be really curious to know how they got all of this grass growing down here. It could, like I said, just have been mud pumped, or alternatively, a dropped layer, but it's hard to say just at a glance. We do have a small space here where the military is training. It's a small two-layer building. I would have loved to see a second floor on that. Same with this, another small building with somebody training. We do have some surface farming, as well as some pastured animals around, and a gathering fruit section, and a pissed off dwarf who's depressed. As we move into the fortress itself, there is a kind of a missed opportunity here. If we look up and move up here, we can see this is the waterfall that is feeding the fortress. Now it flows down here, and this is a very dangerous little setup, but it works, and it flows down onto this drawbridge, at which point flows off the sides of the drawbridge and then down through either side here. So if the lever for this were to be pulled, if there was a lever to be pulled, it would just simply drench the entire fort. Now down here, again, there is actually a lever connected to this one, which we could theoretically see where it's connected, which I'm assuming would be this. If I show connected items, okay, no, it's the floodgate down here. All right, well, I guess that's just to drain it. I'm not entirely sure if these are raisable or if there is a lever anywhere. It's not currently being the most clear, because it's not saying that there's any actual linked items to these drawbridges. I kind of figured you could drain them down, but it doesn't look like it. I was going to say that this is kind of a missed opportunity, because you have all of this water flow and one main major entrance in and out of this fortress. And you could be misting these dwarves and improving their moods quite dramatically. But instead of doing that, we are wasting that valuable resource of positive energy and moods to just simply let the dwarves walk back and forth. I think that's a huge missed opportunity. And personally, I would have tried to route this around here, maybe through some diagonals. So let's just say something like this, just so some of the water flow goes down through here, put a couple grates in here, maybe just a row of grates, route it back down into there, and just let the dwarves enjoy some of that mist. It's just going to such a waste. But now let's go and examine the rest of the fortress here. We do have some space for captain of the guard, as well as a couple studies and offices, as well as space for, I'm assuming, the mayor. And it looks like, oh no, that's just more of the captain of the guard, as well as the dungeon master, who appears to be the captain of the guard's wife, which is a nice little touch. Up here, we have some space, which is being smoothed. I'm just going to remove it so we can see what's happening. Okay, so just a little dormitory over here, an extension to the dormitory. We do have 2 wells down here. The well seems to be a little bit further down, but definitely works. There is a zombie, if not 2, over here on this conspicuous pile. Seems rather sketch, if you ask me, but, you know, maybe they're just sad individuals who died too early. If I go down here, we can see that we have a lovely little metal industry set up, as well as a collection of prison cells. Very well appointed indeed. I would recommend cutting out these corners of this stairwell. So this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner, just so that you don't muck up the pathing as much. And also there's this beautiful trading depot down a ramp here, as well as visible from the layers above, which I'm a big fan of. Down on this lower layer, we have more crafting, as well as metalworks, and a big old pile of kilonites, and lots and lots and lots of various other things around here for crafting, as well as kind of a clothing center here. Of course, easy to block off in case a strange mood fails. And then as well as just kind of a general storage stockpile surrounded by bedrooms. And then if we move over, we can see there is a stairwell going up and down here. I'm not sure what the purpose of this stairwell is. It just kind of seems like it's there. And then this one kind of goes down a little ways. And if we go down, we can actually see that at the bottom of this little stairwell, which I initially thought just ended there, is a bunch of temples. So we have this kind of lovely little temple spot with one unmade temple just yet. I do kind of like this kind of central, like no particular deity temple, and then the more specific temples to specific religions around the corners. I just think it's a nice touch. I think it works quite well. And then down here in this spot, we have this rotten butcher who was 55 years old before they died, who seems to just be praying to the north. And you know what? I would be too if I was a zombie. And then up here we have several more temples dedicated to various critters. And then we can scroll down into this very shallow cavern layer where you can see that they have defenses set up for unwanted aggressors, as well as a nice large drawbridge to enter off into the cavern highway, which is down here, which is really cool. Highways are built by the Mountain Home and other dwarven factions. And these are usable mostly in adventure mode, where you travel from fortress to fortress, and it's always cool to see a big old highway like that. Unless this was something they constructed themselves, but that would be very strange considering it just kind of goes off into the blackness on either side here. And then as we go back down here, we can maybe go a little lower, but I think that's pretty much it. There is kind of a small cave going down here, which seems to just kind of go down to the next cavern layer, and that's pretty much it from what I can tell. Yes, so there is some lava down here, and that's basically it. And as far as constructions go, there is a small space here filled with various woods. And as I go up here, I think we're going to connect back to that other exit over there on the corner. There's multiple stair routes that have been blocked off here. And as we go all the way back up to the surface, we go through this cavern layer and then up to that corner side entrance that I said looked dangerous back at the beginning of the video. Overall, there's bees spawning in midair. Overall, this is a neat little fort. I think that there's definitely some improvements that could be made to this entryway. But aside from that, it's a rather impressive feat, in my opinion, setting up and rerouting a river like this, not just like a brook, but like a river into your fortress and not flooding the whole thing. That is quite impressive. So hats off. And of course, the creek over here drains down into the caverns right here, which is probably the main reason for the FPS hit on this fort, if I had to bet. Unless it's just flooding straight off the side of the map, which it appears to be. So that shouldn't be so bad then. At the very least, filling it initially would do a number to your frames. But the fact that it's draining off the side seems to be pretty much fine. And of course, how could I forget? This glorious grizzly bear enclosure down here. You got to get some more grizzlies up in here and send those out to battle because they are so effective. And look at this. Todd Yushav's Fist, a bard. Let's have a peek at you real quick. An eyeless humanoid with a pair of squat antennae. Its charcoal skin is waxy. This night creature was first created by the human necromancer Yushav Trampled Slaughter of Puzzling after horrible experiments on a human in the year 98. Well, that is horrific. I'm so happy that you've been able to work your way back into society and take up a career in poetry. Once again, if you would like to send in a fort for me to have a look at on a video like this, please leave a link to it on my Discord, and maybe at me with it if you want me to notice. And give me a little pitch as to why I should have a peek at your fort, and there are quite a few of them, so it takes me a while to get to them, and I have to kind of pick and choose at this point. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you would like to see more videos like it, there's a playlist of these growing. I also have a lot of tutorials, and I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/BLINDIRL. If you want to know what the names on the screen are right now, those are the people that keep this channel funded via Patreon. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.